Welcome back to Tahoe Silicon Mountain's Mountain Minds Monday. We'd like to thank our community sponsors for the event, Nevada County Tech Connection, the Lyft Co-work Space, the Town of Truckee. We'd also like to thank the Truckee Airport as a sponsor, the Truckee Roundhouse, Pizza on the Hill, who hosts us here, DLL Technologies, and the Tahoe, well, what's the new name again? Tahoe Truckee Media. We'll get a new logo there for next month. So thank you to our community partners who allow us to make this happen. We'd also like to thank the individual sponsors. This is an annual sponsorship that includes admission to all the Mountain Minds Monday events. It includes the dinner buffet, one beer or wine or 2 sodas, and you get to skip the line. There's a special line to check you in. You can become an individual sponsor for just $150 per year, and here's the link to where you can make that happen. I'm going to invite Dave up to talk about another way to support Tahoe Silicon Mountain.
Thank you. So Amazon has a foundation that they'll give 0.5% of their sales to nonprofits. And so we've signed up for that. And so there's two steps for setting up. First is you want to go under your Amazon account, and I'll show you that in a moment, and ask to donate. And the second one is you need to choose your charity, and I'll show you that as well. The last thing is I'm going to show you how to use it, and it's really simple. You say smile.amazon.com. Okay? Tough. So to establish your charity of choice, you go to your account, which in my case is over here on the right-hand side.
What's your password?
And you go down to the 4th choice, and it's your Amazon Smile. So Amazon Smile is the name of the foundation. And then you go to your account and change your charity, and you search for Tahoe Silicon Mountain, and then you select it, here in Truckee, of course. And then once you've done that, it'll say you're ready to go. And smile.amazon.com is you'll be donating to a nonprofit, specifically us. So we appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm good at slides.
So we also have corporate sponsorships, so that's something you can talk to Connie or Dave or myself about. And without further ado, we're going to get started with the main event. The title of tonight's talk is Unhustle and Shift Your Perspective. And I'd like to introduce the speaker who's going to discuss how to unhustle. Unhustle is a new way of living. We slow life down, become mindful, take time for ourselves, connect with nature, claim back our lives, dream, create, and achieve bigger things. Our speaker will discuss how by unhustling, we can improve our mind-body well-being, create extraordinary experiences and meaningful work, redefine success. Our speaker believes in living an unhustled way of life. It's a lifestyle design and human movement based upon 4 pillars. Mind, body, well, you're going to go through all of that. So our speaker is the co-founder of Unhustle and works as an entrepreneur, lifestyle designer, marketer, and as a certified human potential coach. So please welcome our speaker. I didn't ask you how to pronounce your name.
Milena.
So please announce that. This one.
I need this one. And I need my notes. Yeah, really. It's a lot of them. You guys are still eating. Is anyone still pretty good?
Slow eating.
Slow eating. I'd like to just take just a few seconds to get centered and get grounded. Do you guys want to play with me? All right. This is going to be experiential. I'm not just going to talk all the time. Okay, well, if you're comfortable sitting, you can remain sitting. If you want to stand up, you can stand up. And what we'll do is, guys gonna stay seated. If you feel comfortable,
Tell us what we're doing.
excellent. I want you to uncross your legs if they're crossed, and just get really grounded with your feet on the ground. I'd like you to put both of your hands on your lower belly. And if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. We're just going to take 5 deep breaths, really. That's all we're going to do. We're just going to take a few deep breaths. So I want you to count backwards from 5 and just breathe really deep in your lower belly. And see if you can soften your shoulders. Relax your neck. Breathe deep in your belly. Soften your eyes. Exhale any stress that you went through today. Soften your face. Soften your jaw. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Welcome. How did that feel? Good? Okay, so that's one way when you feel stress, you can relax. I used to pass out coffee mugs that said,
Get stuff done.
get stuff done. And now I'm encouraging people to unhustle. So the problem that I'm seeing with today's society is, I think, the problem you're running into. Too much stuff, too busy, too much going on, too much information, long hours, hard days, work exhaustion, fake it till you make it. There are quite a few entrepreneurs that encourage that kind of mentality. I know the few of you who are already retired, congratulations. This may be completely new to you, but apparently there are trends like rise and grind. Thank God it's Monday. Really? And all of this is under hustle culture. So there's a lot of demands, comparisons, social media. Anyone here feel that way going through their life right now? Raise your hand. Carol, really?
Yes, I'm running this organization.
Okay, this is excellent. Okay, so I was right there. And I was full on hustle mode. So I lived it, and I know exactly how it feels. But then one day, I found myself in the Sea of Cortez in Baja California Sur. And I am floating in the ocean in a 3-2 ripped wetsuit connected to a 12-meter North kite. I'm all alone, and my instructor has finally let me go on my own in the big ocean. She finally trusted me that I'm not gonna kill myself, and I'm going to survive. So I'm in the ocean, I'm doing zigzags in the Bay of La Ventana. I don't know if you guys know where it is, it's on the Sea of Cortez side. And all of a sudden, I have this moment of complete mindfulness. I used to do yoga for years, but I've never experienced such a mindful moment as that moment in La Ventana. So my body relaxes, I'm floating effortlessly in the ocean. My fingers relax a little bit, the grip. I'm starting to think I'm not gonna die and I'm gonna survive. I look around, I see the kites playing around me, circling. It's beautiful, people having fun, laughing, smiling. And I'm so happy. And that's the moment that I just scream. I'm like, yeah, I'm alive. I'm here. I'm present. And that moment was a complete mindful moment for me. I was completely present. It's a moment of flow. Have you guys ever achieved that moment of flow when you're completely in the zone? Yeah? So you know what I'm talking about. You don't have to go kiting. Perfect. But my question at that time is, how can I change my life so I can have more flow, more freedom, more happiness, more purpose in my life, and get out of the busyness and the information overload and the crazy long hours, right? I'm not in the ocean anymore because I learned to kite. Somebody took a photo. So I used to run a digital marketing agency here in Tahoe called Out and About Marketing for years. I've lived in Tahoe for 25 years, close. I've been in marketing for 20. I used to work with amazing clients, international clients, in health and wellness, recreation, Squaw Valley, Truckee, locally, the Ritz, Madonna, Steve Nash, Dr. Vail. I had a really good marketing career. I own a house in Tahoe. I was married, still married, had a dog, still married to the same guy. So I'm living the American dream, right? I'm being successful. And on the outside, everything looked great. On the inside, I was slowly dying. Things were not going so well. So I'm not afraid of hard work. I've always worked hard. I was a ski racer as a kid. I had to race hard all the way until I was 14 years old. At 17, I started my first company in Bulgaria, where I'm from. I taught myself English so I can get accepted in the American University in Bulgaria. I came to the US to get my MBA in marketing. I worked in marketing for 20 years. We won marketing awards. I had a team of 10 people. And I'm stressed out, burnout, always connected. My health is not good. My sleep is not good. I'm always in my head. I never allow myself to do something for fun. My marriage is not great. My friends stop calling me because every time they call me, I say I'm too busy to hang out with you. Does that sound familiar? Good, you're still with me. So, yeah, hustle culture. To the entrepreneurs in the world, in the room, 43% of jobs are created by small businesses. A lot of you guys are either owning a business or owning a business and employing people. And unfortunately, we're dealing with mental health issues. And it's very, very clear because we have coaches in the room dealing with mental issues with entrepreneurs. 50% more likely to experience mental health conditions. 2 times more likely to suffer depression. 6 times more likely to have ADHD. I know that because I lived there. I had a complete ADHD condition going on. I was never diagnosed, but I knew that I couldn't hold a conversation without looking at my phone. I would go to bed at night and look at my Kindle and then go to Amazon and then go back to my Kindle and then go check my emails and then go back to my Kindle and then read 3 books in one night. That's not normal. We actually I think we have less attention span than goldfish. That's not normal. So I think of my parents who both passed away early. And as I'm floating in the Sea of Cortez, I decide to change my life. And I decide that I need to have the courage to change my life. Do you guys like to drink? That's also, maybe if you're an entrepreneur and you like to drink, that might be the reason why. So I'm not the only one that is opposed to hustle culture, and I didn't want to bore you with examples, but there are a lot of people currently, probably you're very aware of it, in Silicon Valley, there's a big push against hustle culture and what that does to our brains, what it does to families. Well, if you're here, something attracted you to the Unhustle movement. So I also knew that I couldn't solve that problem from the same level of consciousness that created it, right? And something had to drastically change. So for me, that started by deciding to simplify my life. Simplifying, decluttering, minimizing. We come back to the US and I decide that I'm going to downsize my company. I'm going to downsize my clients. I have a podcast called the Unhustle podcast, and I have a conversation on it with Kathleen Odette, who helped me downsize my wardrobe and leave me with the clothes that are authentically me and get rid of everything else. So that was bags and bags and bags of clothes. So it's a really, really easy way to start simplifying. Just go through your wardrobe. Anyone here has heard of minimalism and simplifying? And yeah? Anyone here practices it? Yeah? Excellent. I came to this country with 2 bags of clothes. Now I look around, I'm like, where did all this stuff come from? I mean, Amazon is definitely not helping in this situation. Smile. It took us a couple of years, I'm not gonna lie. It's not an easy process. What started with the wardrobe, it took us a couple of years to go through every room in the house, everything that we owned, and say, do we love it? Is it useful? Is there any sentimental value from it? And we got rid of everything else, which actually opens up a lot of space and energy to do things that you want to do. And it opens up a lot of time for experiences, opens up a lot of opportunities to do other things in your life that currently you don't have time to do. So 4 months after my first experience in Tahoe, we actually end up going back there. And this time it's for a month. And we go back to floating in the ocean and body dragging. This time we have our own gear. We actually bought some new toys. But we're using the gear. And it's one morning on the beach where we're walking down the beach with our dog, and we decide, you know what? Why can't we redesign our life? Why can't we spend the summers in Tahoe and the winters in Baja? We're not tied to anything. We don't have family. Why can't we see this? Why can't we try this and see if it works? So we decided to, we actually bought land there. We bought an Airstream, and we started spending 3 to 4 months of the year in Baja and enjoying a really, really simple life. Living in an Airstream, waking up to the most amazing sunrises, meeting some really, really cool people who are into mountain biking and kiteboarding. We're establishing new community. Great question.
I don't know if I can survive that.
Did I have internet is the question. The first 10 days when I went and I attempted to learn to kiteboard, I didn't have internet. It was 10 days of complete digital detox, and it was the greatest thing ever. I used to go to Burning Man when there was no internet there. And you know what I would do at Burning Man? Sleep. because I wasn't connected. The wrong place to go sleep, but I used to catch up on a lot of sleep there. The second time we went, there was a little bit of internet, and it's improving, but it's definitely slower, and it continues to improve, but it's definitely slower than here, which makes you so much more productive. And actually that changed my life, because I'm so dependent on internet, right? And so when we're here with 100 megabytes per second speed, and you're going through your day and you think, oh, I have 10 hours or 8 hours to get all these things done, you spend 10 hours getting stuff done. When you have 4 hours with limited internet and you want to go play, or you want to go kite, or you want to go bike, you focus on the most important things. And actually the best thing that came with that is that I had to maintain that focus and that clarity when I came back here, when I did have fast internet. So yes, I was able to work from there, sometimes from a deserted island with 2 iPhones, one streaming on local internet time, one streaming on US time, and I'm speaking to a client in San Francisco. I'm on a deserted island 12 miles away from the beach in a little spot that I can actually have that conversation, because I want to go snorkeling and I want to have fun, and no one needs to know where I am. And actually all my clients knew what was going on, because I was still getting my work done. Not only getting it done, but getting more creative, coming up with better ideas, and doing much better work than I was doing back in my old frazzled way. So it worked out great. That's a really bad picture. but hey, part of this is getting completely down to earth, and getting out of comparisons and getting out of being vain. So simplicity is a key to getting out of stress mode. Really, really key. My husband's motto is keeping it simple. I am not a perfect example of keeping it simple. It's a struggle for me on an everyday basis. I continue to see how I can simplify things. And one of Unhustled's premises is that less is more. Less is more. I mean, we worked with Dave on this presentation, and I kept cutting slides out because less is more. I'd rather tell you and walk you through it, because less is more. The people that work for Apple know that really well. Now, a friend of mine, I don't want to mention his name because he's a locally well-known guy who is financially independent. Saw me and my husband one time going paddleboarding, and he's sitting on the beach with his girlfriend, and he says, "Can I talk to you too?" This was here in Tahoe. We said, "Uh-oh, we're in trouble. We know what's going on." He's like, I envy your lifestyle. You two know how to live. You get up in the morning, you have a coffee, you go for a paddle." And we both looked at him and we said, we're still working. You're completely financially independent. Why can't you simplify your businesses? Why can't you do what we're doing? You're in a complete position to do that, and get out of taking your businesses and being in control. Why can't you let go? So he actually did. He listened to our advice. And 3 years later, he's very happy, and I lived the life, and I'm very proud of him that he actually got the courage to do that. Because sometimes, it's hard to make that step. Do you guys know who Peter Schmuck is? He's a 2-time Olympian athlete who believes in that less is more approach. And he trained Apollo Ono, who was the USA Olympic gold medalist, who said, "Peter taught me how to get done more by doing less." So it's not just in work environment, but it's also with athletes. Because when we are doing, when we're in that stress mode, our bodies can't take anymore. And actually the biggest thing with athletes, the biggest trend is to get them to not do anything. And it's the same at work. We're basically work athletes. So the whole minimalism movement opened up my idea for, okay, what's next? And I stumbled upon the Human Potential Institute one night. And I made a decision within 24 hours to sign up for this coaching program that I had no idea why I was signing up for it. I was like, coaching? I don't even know what coaching is. But their premise was excellent. Clear mind, focused mind, more balanced life, happier life, produce more without all the struggle. So I said, okay, I'm in. So 9 months of embodiment practices and mindfulness training and coaching, and it's under by Bulletproof Institute, so Dave Asprey biohacking, for those of you guys that know what biohacking is. So I become a human potential coach. The biggest thing out of this is that I learned how to be present, and I learned how to tap into that moment of me floating in the ocean in Baja like that, just like we did with you guys. Sometimes all it takes is just 5 breaths for you to become present and connect with your lower belly, and that is the portal to your infinite wisdom. We live way too much up in our heads and not enough in all of this, and it's really not proportionate. We have a lot of wisdom in our bodies, and we use our analytical brains a little bit too much. So I no longer get sucked into working long hours, glued to screens, and my health improved, my relationships improved, and Unhustle was born during that program. So I experienced this complete transformation from going in from a hustling, stressed out entrepreneur to changing my life one step at a time. So one thing about our society right now is that we deal with a lot of stress and a lot of burnout. Burnout was recognized as an official condition by the World Health Organization this last summer. Stress, a little bit of stress is actually, it's good. Puts us in a better mood, motivates us. But too many periods of longer stress actually have that physiological effect on your body where it's constantly telling you that you're on alert. And I think that's when that happens, we start to experience burnout. We need that downtime in order to have the high time. But because of that fast life, because of these hours of working, information overload, we're bombarded with like 4,000 to 10,000 messages in a day. Buy this, do this, no, look at me, no, look at me. We're on constant alert. So it used to be, oh, tiger, run! And then you run away from the tiger and then you rest. Now it's like tiger, 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 bear. And we can't do that. We're not designed to do that. So when there's stress, your heart rate goes up, it constricts blood vessels, dilates it, it slows down the intestines, inhibits digestive secretions, and prompts glands to flood the system with cortisol. And it's cortisol and adrenaline that we're constantly fighting. So I went through 20 years of digestive issues, right? And it happens with a lot of women because a lot of women hold stress in our bellies. I went to the doctor here in Truckee 20 years ago. They ran all kinds of tests on me and finally said, we don't know what's wrong with you, and said, you probably have IBS. I'm like, what's IBS? Irritable bowel syndrome. I was like, what should I do? Take a Vicodin. Take a Vicodin? I went to the Eastern doctor. The Eastern doctor said, oh, you need to tweak your diet a little bit. I still had the problems. It wasn't until I started to manage my stress that I no longer have stomach problems. I had high cholesterol levels. I had issues with my thyroid. I don't have any of this right now. I just had a blood test done this summer. My doctor wants my business cards because she wants to send me her clients for coaching. So it's amazing what we do to our bodies and what our bodies endure, and how we're in complete control of us. We have our bodies, they're our vessels. Sometimes I think we get a little too obsessed with how we look, but our bodies are our vessels for what we want to do in this world. I used to get up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym. More stress. That is more stress on your body. So you go from stress in the gym to stress at work to stress at home. And when is the break? We all charge our phones every night. When do we charge ourselves? So resilience, stress resilience was a big part of my training. I used to think that if I make more money, stress will go away. Right? We owe more stuff, then they start to control us. So the way to get away from stress is investing in mind-body well-being. It's taking the time to watch the sunrise or watch the sunset. Go outside in the morning for 10 minutes and sit in the sunshine. It's a biohack. It will increase your melatonin, wake you up, make you feel good. Go for a walk by yourself without your phone. Be bored. Let your creativity. It's hard to let go. It is really, really hard to get go. But find a way to find a little bit of mindfulness and being present. Meditation is hard. Do you know why it's hard? Because we're told that this should be completely normal if you sit cross-legged on a chair, like you're some Tibetan monk. Who can possibly sit like this? That's not normal. I mean, they've been trained to do this since they were kids. We can't do that. So the way to meditate, if you want to get into meditation, you're asking how do you stick to it on a regular basis? Get comfortable. Pretend you're watching Netflix. It works. When you relax your body, you can actually relax your mind. So mind-body well-being, critical to get out of that stress and burnout mode. To give you an example, Melanie Gordon, she's a burnout entrepreneur from San Diego. She followed our adventures in Baja. She has decided to take the plunge, and she got the courage to say, let's see if I can reinvent my life. So her and her husband right now, they're in a camper traveling around all of the state with their pup, and she's working remotely. You know, her team is all on board, and it's working out great for them. And I have a conversation with her as well on the Unhustled podcast, if you want to listen to that. My idol when it comes to business is Richard Branson. What does Richard Branson do? He spends an hour every day working out, playing tennis, and kiting. So, you know, if he can find the time to do that, we can find the time to do that. A guy in Sacramento working from, he's the CEO of a marketing company, decided to give his employees unlimited vacation time. Connecting with like-minded individuals and building a community is key to finding that stress resilience. So the guy in Sacramento with the marketing company, he gives his employees unlimited vacation time. Crazy, right? Well, no one took him up on it. So now he pays his employees $2,000 a month so they will take him up on that offer. And the end result is that there is very few employees actually leaving his company, where in that kind of industry, it's considered to be about 17% turnover rate. So if you're a small business owner, how much does it actually cost you to hire a new employee? And what can you do to keep that employee and keep him happy? So Arianna Huffington, I don't know if you follow what she's doing. She started Thrive Global, the third matrix. She was suffering from sleep issues. She fell, broke her cheekbone on the table when she ran Huffington Post. Now she started Thrive Global because she believes there is a third matrix instead of just success and money and the rat race. So why don't we all stand up? We're going to do a little shake it out Qigong exercise, and I'll show you how you can do this. So the best way to release stress, actually, this is science proven, is shake it. Yep, shake it off. So when you're stressed out, instead of having a drink, you just shake it off. Shake it off. It feels good. Then the next thing you can do is, it's a little Qigong massage. You start tapping. You start tapping. Tap, 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 tap. And you go down your legs, up on the inside. And then you do a little rotation. Tap on your chest. It takes 2 minutes, guys. I do this every morning. Gets your blood moving, gets the chi going. And it feels good. All right. Thank you. It feels good. My last issue I want to talk about is the always on. We're always on. We're always glued to screens. So a few stats here. Well, you can see I was always glued to screens, at least 2. I used to sleep with my phone. I had international clients. I actually slept with my phone in my hand. I would go to bed with my phone. I would wake up with my phone. You're right? It's easy. The first thing you grab is your phone. The first thing you do is check your emails. Really, really not a good idea. So on average, we spend 6.5 hours online, 11 hours staring at screens. To the person who worked in parks, I envy your life. You guys have a different glow about you, and I have another friend down in Baja. You absolutely have a different glow about you because you're always outside. We spend 93% of our time indoors. We're not designed to do this. We're not designed to sit. We go home and to relax, we watch TV. Yeah? And for the people in the room that are over 65, you're even worse. You even watch more TV. Dave got really scared when I told him these statistics. Yeah. If nothing else scares you, this should. 22 minutes for every hour of TV time. Your life is so much shorter. So if you watch TV 6 hours, that equates to 4.8 years. Now, I don't know about you, but I kind of want to have a good life and enjoy living my life somewhere. So think about how you want to spend your time. To the people in the room who said, I don't have time, I was just going to use a word that I'm not allowed to use. I'm going to say, you find the time to do the things you want to do. We spend far too much time on some device, and I know because I lived that life. 2 hours and 22 minutes. Now I have some good statistics for that. 2 hours and 22 minutes. We spend 28% of our time in our emails. And in that amount of time, somebody climbed Mount Everest twice in a year. You can hike the Inca Trail 27 times. You can take 30 road trips across America. You can read Harry Potter, the series, 18 times from cover to cover. In my case, I learned to kiteboard. You can get out of your inbox. I use an app called Inbox When Ready, which only allows me to get into my inbox for like 30 minutes. And you can cheat. I've been known to cheat. I'm not perfect, but it got me out of my email. All of a sudden, I can get all this, actually my important stuff done. and go out and play. The email stuff, it sorts itself out. If somebody needs you, they'll call you. But I had to trick myself, and I had to do stuff that I couldn't take my phone because I was completely addicted to it. So I actually had to do stuff close to water, in the water, underwater, sometimes on the side of the ocean, in a hot spring, so I could not look at my phone. So watching the sunrises and meditating is a much better way of starting my days these days than staring at my phone. There's a direct correlation, there are studies done with regards to internet time and happiness, and it goes like this. The more internet time you spend, the least happiness you have in your life. So wake up in the morning, go outside, get some sunshine, enjoy the sunrise, go for a quick brisk walk, do a couple of jump ups, jumping jacks, whatever it's your thing. Digital well-being, unplugging, digital detox. Sounds familiar? There's all kinds of trends right now happening on there. So my way of digital well-being is apps. So they get me out of my inbox. I constantly delete and minimize apps on my phone. I put my phone on airplane mode. You guys want to do something with me? If you have a phone, you can take your phone out. Now is a good time. Go to your settings and go to display and brightness and see if your night shift is turned on. That would actually, there's a night shift. Apple made this really cool thing. You should be teaching this. So it's under settings, display and brightness, night shift. This will change the light. So if you're actually looking at your phone, it's more on the red side of things versus blue. It's just a biohack. The other thing you can do is turn on the do not disturb sign. And you won't get any notifications, no buzzing, none of that after a certain time or before a certain time. So do these things at a minimum. Do you guys know that there's such thing as phantom ringing? 75%. My husband said, "What's phantom ringing?" I'm like, "That's when you have a phone or you don't have a phone and you think it's ringing, it's in your pocket and you go like this." Yeah. So we were included, CNN did an article on unplugging and executives talking about how important digital detox is for success from an executive perspective, and Unhustle was included in the article. Unplugging movements, digital detox camp, slow life movements. I'm interviewing Carl Honoré tomorrow. For the podcast, he's considered the father of the slow life movement. So it's about slowing things down. Now remember, I'm from Bulgaria. I grew up with a very simple, slow life pace, and I'm craving that again. So when you get really grounded in your values, you know what makes you happy, then you can take action on what makes you happy. Good Morning America just had a piece on unplugging and unplugging vacations and where to go for that. So people are definitely craving it. It's a question of acting on it. There's science that shows that vacations can actually save time. When was the last time you took a vacation? Soon? In the next month? Who took a vacation in the next 1 month? Okay, 2 months? Okay, 3 months? Nice. Who hasn't taken a vacation in a year? Yeah. It's time. It's time. Okay, so Unhustle was born as a way to save and change people's lives. I call it a new old way of living because the older people in the room are definitely thinking this is how we used to live, and the younger people in the room are going, this is all new to me and I have to change my life. We are grounded on basically well-being, experience, and the courage to make a change. And I do believe that you can create a different life if you start taking the small steps that you need to take, and if you get grounded in what is really important to you and make time for what's really important to you. But investing in your well-being, unplugging from technology, is going to get you there much faster. So we're human beings, not human doers. Do you know who she is? She worked with caregivers for quite a few years. And so she spent a lot of time with people dying. And she wrote this book at the end, which is now an international bestseller. So the 5 regrets of the dying. I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expect of me. Ouch. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. And I wish that I had let myself be happier. Pretty powerful one. So courage, mind, body, and digital well-being, life design are pretty critical to what people think having a good life is at the end of their life. So I want you guys to just think of one thing you can do starting today, and if there is a way you can just make your life a little bit better. They asked Warren Buffett just a couple of days ago, like, what would you do if you had to live another life? And after a really long explanation as to what his chances are to live another really good life, this is what he had to say, that we can increase our overall happiness by making just a few changes to our career, goals, finances, health, and relationships. So I want to give you a couple of examples of lives that we've been able to change so far. Curtis and Arlene. Curtis is a guy from Tahoe who would see us living for Baja, and he would just have that little twinkle in his eye, and he's like, one day, and I never thought he would actually do it. But then last year he called us and he was already in Baja, and he said, that's it, I did it. He retired. His girlfriend sold her business, and the two of them bought a camper, and they're traveling the world for the next 10 years. And we did an interview with them, and it's on the Unhustled podcast. Annie quit her job because she wanted to have her own business, because she wanted to write her book. I just spoke with her last week, and she said, I don't have time to write the book. I am constantly dealing with clients, and I can't find the time. So as of last week, she's committed to write her book in the next 60 days. Alenka biked from Lake Tahoe to Baja by herself, going on really, really dirty roads, 2,700 miles, because that was her dream, and she wanted to clear her head. Terry and Alex quit their corporate jobs and took 100 days to visit 100 yoga studios on the West Coast so they can design their best yoga studio in Portland. And Gary left his medical career in the emergency room because he was tired of seeing people go there when it's too late to do something about it, and he became a human potential coach. So the moral of this story is that we're humans. And somehow in this society of ours, we are becoming more and more like robots and more like machines. And we need to go back to being humans. We need to take care of our bodies and take care of our minds so we can take the unhustle moments in our life, the moments that recharge us, so we can charge forward, so we can accomplish more, build better companies, build better teams, and be happier along the way. And it all starts with shifting your perspective or getting the courage to make these small changes. So I have 7 ways that you guys can unhustle that are really, really simple. Call an old friend instead of commenting on their social media post. Amazing way to reconnect with old friends. I've been doing that for the past 6 months as a little experiment. And at first they go, why are you calling me? I'm like, I just want to talk to you. I don't want to, I'm done commenting on your Facebook post. I mean, it's a really simple thing, but we're humans. We actually want to connect with people. Turn off the Wi-Fi after 7 p.m. If you have kids, they'll probably hate you. But you can read a book, play a game, talk with your kids, take a cold shower. Anyone? I love cold showers. Do have a workshop this Saturday. Actually, we're gonna do some cold therapy in the lake. But I live by the lake, so I'm actually real fortunate that I can swim in the lake every morning. And showers are great for increasing your courage, because when you say go, you go. If you're an entrepreneur, if you want to decrease stress, if you want to decrease inflammation, if you want to clear your mind, if you want to increase creativity, take a cold shower. Take a regular break and move when you work. Get out of sitting, run around the block, do some squats, do some push-ups, whatever it is that you want to do. When you go home tonight, take a look at your living room and say, do I really need this, or can I donate it? It's kind of addictive though, I just want to warn you. Once you do one thing, you may go through the whole house. It's really addictive. Spend 2 hours in nature, engaging with all your senses. The Japanese came up with what's called forest medicine. I don't know if you've heard about that term. Forest medicine? Forest bathing, forest medicine. Instead of going for a walk, your typical standard Tahoe, let's go, walk, slow it down and engage all of your senses. Look around, see if you can connect with with everything around you using all of your senses. Inhale the oils from the pine trees. It's proven to be anti-cancerous, it decreases stress, it's got a lot of good options from going out, and we live right here. It's amazing. You can even use aromatherapy and get some Douglas fir and infuse that in your living room throughout the day and still get some of the benefits from that. You can dance. So I want to say thank you. If you sign up to the email newsletter on the website, I just wrote today like 40 ways you can unhustle. If you're craving more of unhustle stuff, you can get that. You can connect with me through the website or milena@unhustle.com, and I'm open to questions. Thank you. Yes.
I just want to know, for podcast, it was on our website.
Yeah, the podcast is on the website. You can get to it from there. It's in the very early stages. Everything is very unhustled-like with my business at the moment, because there are 2 things that people want to know: if I'm hustling to get Unhustle going, and I'm not going to do that. So as much as I'd like to get everything perfect and ideal, I have to let go and let life do what life's going to do. So baby steps with everything, but yes, it is. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about what Unhustled does or will do?
Yes, thank you for asking. We work with individuals and groups and companies to get them to de-stress, change perspectives, increase their well-being, increase employee happiness, and figure out a way to get you to the next level in your life, where you can redesign your life and do better, bigger things. We do coaching, we have workshops, we have corporate programs, we do retreats, we work with people one-on-one, we work with groups, and I'm having a ball with all of it. I need all the help I can use. Thank you.
You talked about trying to get away from checking your email when you first wake up. I found about a dozen years ago, what was even more helpful was not checking your email before you go to bed, because there's another 4 hours of work there.
I absolutely agree. I don't check anything after 7 p.m. Yeah, absolutely. Because and okay, I'm not perfect. I have my exceptions. I know immediately how it affects my sleep, and I'm fully aware of it. I have like a sleep email hangover the next day because you can't shut off your brain. Yeah. So great point. Yeah. I actually try not to get to my email until 11 o'clock because that's my most productive time, and everything else can wait. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
I'm just very curious. Like, I don't know how long you did your marketing, and you've been very successful, so you get your MBA. But what if you could go back to when you first started your whole marketing thing, and you had implemented all these things? Would you have a house and the success that you have right now? It seems like you worked really hard and you got all this stuff. Now you get to relax. I don't feel like I'm in that position.
It's a very valid question, and it's a great question, and I get this all the time. And people go, oh yeah, well now you can unhustle because you've hustled, right? And very valid question. What makes you happy though? When I live in Baja and I look at the people in Baja who have their one pair of shoes, a couple of t-shirts, but they have their families, they get together and eat together, they laugh, they have a good time. Their perspective on life, I think sometimes is so much more true to true north than ours. And when I look at how much stuff we have here and how much do you really need, living in an Airstream in Baja for 4 months, going from a 25-foot tiny home and realizing how little you need to be happy, I think we deal with a lot of greed and a lot of materialism and consumerism. Do I want to have a house in Tahoe? Yeah, I do. So you have to do something to get there. And I hope that Unhustle is going to change more lives, save more lives, and do better financially than my marketing career ever will. I'm still in the startup phases of it, so I'd love to tell you, yeah, I've done $10 million with Unhustle. I haven't, but I'm happy.
Even though I'm retired, I find I get stressed. But one big difference I found is that I do spend some time every day just sitting at the back deck reading. And to me, it's just because I was so stressed out in Silicon Valley for years. So for me, it's just being able to take the little steps. And I would assume if that's something that you recommend to people, because it's, to cut everything, it's scary.
Yeah, and that's a great point, and good for you for realizing what's happening and what makes you relax. Because it's going to be different for everybody, right? So you know that reading a book on the back deck relaxes you. And it's going to be different for everybody. If somebody can go for a hike and whatever, but absolutely. It's finding your values, finding what makes you happy, and spending the time on these things. And it's going to be different for you, it's going to be different for Dave, with different individuals. And I find that very interesting in marriage, because one person says I want to do this, and one person says I want to do this. One wants to go for a bike ride, one wants to read a book. So it's finding that compromise that also is going to make the marriage stronger. But yeah, small steps. And we see all this. I'm not that much in Silicon Valley. as you guys are, but you see the sleeping pods in Google, and you see all that stuff that's happening. Companies are realizing that their employees need more me time, and so it's happening. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing you say, and I'm so excited about it, is I think you're encouraging people not to stop working, but to, in a way, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but to maybe work with a greater passion, a greater sense of creativity. And I just read that Google has their programmers now with a 20% program, where they give 20% of them daily work to actually work on personal creative projects. And the idea, I think, is about working with more passion or with more interest, which is very different, I think. I mean, at least I feel that's kind of part of what you're saying. Instead of whipping yourself to kind of be productive, it's a different kind of definition of what working well means. Yeah. It doesn't mean like unplugging from work and just lying there staring at the sky. I think it means working with creative passion. And that's a completely different way of being day to day.
Yeah, absolutely. And the challenge is, instead of working the long hours, I mean, France instituted a 35-hour work week, right? And everybody said, oh, that's crazy, they're gonna fail. Well, it turned out it was the most productive country in Europe. So working long hours and being productive, to me, are two different things. And that's where we need to differentiate. Because when you give your employees the time off, or when you go and recharge, you can accomplish more in less time. And yeah, if you're working on something you're passionate about, then double bonus. And some people have that choice to do something they're passionate about, and some people don't. But it's looking at like, am I stuck in that mindset, or can you actually redo something?
We have a hard stop with the live stream, so I have to unfortunately say thank you so much. Ellen, do you want to come up and just do a quick wrap? Or okay, well, we'll just thank you so much to our speaker, to everybody. Thank you so much. Please fill out the surveys. We would love to hear from you. Give us some feedback so we can improve how we're running Mountain Minds Monday, as well as Tahoe Silicon Mountain. Thank you.